Yo, what's going on, everybody? Um, I just want to make this video. I'm not at the studio, of course. I'm actually at work. I'm on my break. And I just wanted to just share my heart about what's been going on concerning the George Floyd case and situation. Guys, let me just start off by saying right now that what we did witness, and you're hearing it from me, and I know there are plenty of brothers who will see it the same way, that this was murder. Clear as day. A man was killed right before our eyes. Right before our eyes. He pled for his life. He pled to be able to breathe. You hear him call out for his mother. And he goes out. We watch him fade. And he doesn't wake up again. What makes it hard to discuss these types of things, where we should be mourning the loss of life of another image bearer. The same with Ahmaud Arbery, the same with Trayvon Martin, or anyone else. And if you watch my channel, you know where I stand in those cases. But what makes it hard to mourn the loss of life is having to battle the narratives, the false narratives that are put out there in the media to get us to react. And then how unfortunate it is that we feed into it. We feed into it every single time. And they making their money off of us. Guys, as sad and as wicked as the situation was, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled into being baited in by using a race card. Don't be fooled. For my brothers and sisters, God has given us the spirit of not fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And as a Christian, our conviction, no matter what happens, our conviction is to make much of Christ, to glorify him, even in the midst of chaos, uncertainty, and sin, especially in this world. Make much of Christ. God is about truth. I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. All truth belongs to God. All lies belong to Satan. I actually added that last part in. But it's true. Jesus says that Satan is the father of lies. But God is truth. He is truth. So based on that conviction, guys, as sad as this is, don't automatically, and I say automatically, don't automatically get baited in by use of the race card because an individual is white and another is black. The media is trying to punk us and play us. And I ain't gonna say, and I think they're beyond trying. They think they're actually done it. They're actually doing it now. They are truly playing us. Yo, I had a conversation with another brother the other day. And he was saying how it's rare that white cops may kill another white cop, or a black cop kill another ethnicity. And I said it's possible that it could be rare, but the stats, guys. Now I haven't looked at 2020 yet, but in 2019, more white people were killed by police officers than black, no matter what situation it was, whether it was wrong or whether it was justified. 2020, I'm not sure yet. I haven't looked at that. But you don't hear about those killings. We don't hear about the unarmed white man who was shot and killed, who was shot and killed by a police officer. We don't hear about that. We don't hear about the white male who was unarmed and restrained and ended up losing his life to a police officer. We don't hear about that. But that has happened. That has happened. But see, we're baited in by the race card, and then we overlook the issue, the true issue. Ultimately, it's a sin issue. Ultimately, it's a heart issue. But what we have is a system that abuses its power. People within a system that abuses its power. This culture, a godless culture, abusing their power. Can't you see it dealing with COVID-19? The regulations that are put on people, the fact that if you don't wear a mask, what that says of you and everything else. Can't you see? It's our culture. Our culture is giving them this power. Our culture is telling them, do what you will, because we're right. They're God unto themselves. I got there watching, if you haven't watched it, please watch the Leaving the Legacy podcast with Edwin Ramirez and Michael Griffin. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Just bringing the focus to where it needs to be. Giving too much power to the government, and look what it's gotten us. So this isn't a race issue. This is a sin issue, a heart issue. But what's the remedy? What has always been the remedy for that sin issue, for those heart issues? Is it not still the gospel? And you say the gospel comes with action, but it comes with action rightly placed. Rightly placed. If you go and place your actions against race, it's a blind spot, because that's not the case. You have to assume upon motives that you don't have enough evidence for. You can't say that this person's racist because there have been a history of racism. No more than somebody can say that I'm a thug, or I hate white people, or this and that third, because there's been a history of Black Panthers. You can't do that. That's not living upon the truth. That's living upon lies. But what we can see and what we do know, and it's not a lie, is that our hearts are idol factories, and pride and arrogance is at the top of that chain. And that's what we see. It's unfortunate. Pray for the Floyd family. Pray for his loved ones. Pray for one another. But be willing to talk to one another. Grieve with one another. But do not be baited in with the lies. Keep your mind sound. Be slow to speak, swift to hear. Slow to speak, swift to hear. And every time I've done a topic or talked about a situation that involved a Black person being killed and dealing with white cops or white people and everything else, I've always pointed to the context. But see, here lies a clear distinction. There's no need of looking at the context for what happened with George Floyd. Hear me, guys. I don't need to know what he was doing before they had him down on the ground. I don't need to know what the initial charge was. Because what you see in that video is a man who's restrained. Whatever threat that he placed is over. This isn't the same with Ahmaud Arbery, where you have a man who's not detained, who's grabbing for a gun. This isn't the same when you had Eric Gardner, who wasn't restrained, yet who put a chokehold just to get him down. Now, that's a whole distinction on by itself. This isn't the same. This man was in handcuffs, saying he can't breathe, saying he will get in the car. I will get in the car. Just let me up. And that wicked officer pressed his knee on his neck. There's reason to be angry. There's reason to be heartbroken. But do not be fooled. I struggle with even trying to make this video. I couldn't wait to get behind the studio desk and the green screen and all of that. I ain't felt right trying to record. But I just want to encourage you to not be fooled. There is a narrative being pushed. There is a motive behind the fact that we see these things now. There's a motive. Don't buy into it. That's my plea for you. If you disagree with me on everything else concerning social justice and all that stuff, notice that I've always said there's always a distinction. And let this be an example to show you that there's a clear distinction where there's clear, unjust behavior happening. And these officers, all four of them, they deserve to lose their jobs. They deserve to be prosecuted. They deserve to be jailed. And if some would argue, they deserve to even die. And it would be just. That would be true justice, life for life. And they would deserve all of it. That what happened to them, what happened on that day to George Floyd was true injustice. True injustice. But it wasn't a race issue. We don't know that. And if we keep throwing that narrative, continually dividing each other, I just can't look in the future and see there's going to be any time where brothers and sisters in Christ can truly love on one another like they're supposed to because of this false narrative. I love you all. Grace and peace.